What is good? Osiris here, stuck in the middle. Thank you for joining. Those who have interest in keeping us divided are not going to make it easy for us. And I say us because I think if you're watching this video, there is at least a part of you that wants us to function as a well run, peaceful society. And those who have goals or their mission or they benefit from division are not going to make it easy for you and I to bring people. When I say to the middle, doesn't mean you change your position, but that you can interact with each other. Because when you do that, there are a lot of people who make their living off of the division. And that you could even argue as big as the Democratic Party right now is benefiting from the division, and the Republicans as well, of course. They're not going to make it easy for us. There are a lot of people who make money off of this stuff. The headline goes, yes, kink belongs at Pride. And I want my kids to see it. Children need to know that they can make their own ways into the world. This is bizarre. I don't know what's happening to us. And the reason why it's bizarre, it's written by Lauren Rowello. They can do whatever they want. I'm perfectly fine with that. I wouldn't even care or know unless the Washington Post published this. And that's where I'm wondering what's happening. Why would the Washington Post say, yeah, you know what, Lauren, that's a Pride article that I want to disseminate to the masses. Somebody like myself who supports the Pride community. This hurts the cause. What is this? Coming from a major publication, we have people who are getting demonetized from YouTube, banned for talking about our health crisis. They're pulling down videos from politicians, a governor having a session with medical professionals pulled down, a congressional hearing pulled down from YouTube. And what do we get from our mainstream outlets, the Washington Post? Yes, kink belongs at Pride. I'm going to read from the article. When our children grew tired of marching, we plopped onto a nearby curb. Just as we got settled, our elementary schooler pointed out the direction of oncoming floats, raising an eyebrow at a bare-chested man in dark sunglasses whose black suspenders clipped into a leather thong. The man paused to be spanked playfully by a partner with a flog. What are they doing? My curious kid asked as our toddler cheered them on. The pair was the first of a few dozen kinksters who danced down the street, laughing together as they twirled their whips and batons, some leading companions by leashes. At the time, my children were too young to understand the nuance of the situation, but I told them the truth, that these folks were members of our community celebrating who they are and what they like to do. I repeat, our elementary schooler. At the time, my children were too young to understand the nuance of the situation. If they're too young to understand the nuance of the situation, they're too young to be knowingly put in the situation. I hope that doesn't need to be debated. I hope that doesn't, because there's this big push. Oh, if you criticize somebody, then you're phobic, you're racist, you're this ism. I've had enough of that. This is not any type of ism. This is something coming from the Washington Post that is completely unacceptable. And they are forcing us. And you have to take the bait when they look at critical race theory being taught in schools. And now they're talking about children and what they are supposed to be and exposed to. This is not condoning it. They are advocating it. They are saying it is a necessary part of their choice to bring up their children. This has no place in a major publication. Absolutely no place. We can't share a society if your newspaper prints this and the only people who speak against it are Republicans. There's no prominent, the tweet got ratioed. But I haven't seen a prominent Democrat say, yeah, that's not what we really need to do. This is divided along political lines. And what they're doing is they're making it harder for us to be in the middle. I had a great discussion with someone on Twitter about the birthing people quote, and I was confused by it at first. And that person chatted with me, said, "Hey, this is what it means." They were so respectful. We had a good conversation. I was like, "I got you. I have nothing but love for people who want to be referred to as birthing people. I have no problem with that." Great. Now I'm clear on the term. I appreciate you. I'm not against it at all. So when you're in the middle, you try to talk to people who are maybe on the right and they're laughing at the term or whatever and be like, "Yeah, I didn't get it at first, but here's what it means. I chatted with somebody online and they kind of laid it out and made sense. Here's where it is." You're kind of bringing them to the middle. So what happens is they don't want you on the left and the right, of course, but this is on the left. So I'm going to talk about the left. They don't want you bringing people to the middle. So they have to keep going further left. That's why it's brought out in the Washington Post from a left news outlet. We're bringing you further left. So now I can't bring anybody to the middle. I talk to them about, yes. And one of the biggest points of issue I have with Republicans is that they are too anti. They come across as anti LGBTQ, and it's just stupid to me. Like, you can have that opinion, but to be putting it out there like that is just like, I don't even want to be associated with you because you come across as hateful. And I don't think that's where it is, but that's what you come across as. And that's one of the big problems with them. So when I try to bring them to the middle and say, be accepting of this, and then they see, you know what? What they say is, it's just a setup. Look where they're trying to get me to. And I don't have a comeback for that. They're clearly trying to get you to that point. The purpose of this article, I know it's for views. I know they know it's going to get ratio. They're not stupid. Like, we all know the algorithm now, right? I mean, we know those who are activated in this social media stuff, you know which ones are probably going to get ratioed or not. I did a tweet criticizing Lauren Boebert. I'm going to do a separate video on that and how she's doing the same thing on the right. And she spoke against Joe Biden and she had nothing but facts, but she was so disrespectful that she's just making herself toxic and she's not going to accomplish anything. And that's on purpose. I spoke out against that and I got ratioed. I knew I was going to get ratioed, obviously, especially when I was in a thread that was Republican. The Washington Post, my point is, the Washington Post knows it's going to get ratioed. But they also know there are no prominent Democrats that are going to come out against it. And they also know it makes it harder to bring us together. This article hurts the LGBTQ cause. So if she has that opinion and she puts it on TikTok or Twitter or YouTube or whatever on her own without the brand of Washington Post, it doesn't really hurt things that much. But when the Washington Post is promoting and advocating this stuff, signing off on this stuff, that hurts the whole process of us trying to get together. It just seems so clear to me that somebody, something, some way does not want us to coincide. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I do not want to share a government with somebody who thinks that this is okay coming from a major news source. They have free speech. They have the right to do it. Don't get me wrong. And I have the right to say that it's ridiculous and has malintent. I'm going to end with this, and I really would like to hear your thoughts on this. This is falling apart. I know you're not. Right now, I am black pilled on our future, and I give credit to those who are white pilled. Give me a reason why I should be white pilled, because we can't share a society like this. And this is just where it's at now. It's going to keep going left. Glenn Greenwald broke it down perfectly. Glenn Greenwald broke this down perfectly. And his tweet was, the problem is that when a highly funded social movement succeeds in all of its goals, it won't declare victory and stop. Too much money, too much activist bureaucracy, and jobs at stake, so it keeps expanding to justify its own existence into unrecognizable areas. Now, when he says that it succeeds in all its goals, the way that I'm interpreting that, because you're never going to live in utopia, but the major goals that garner mainstream attention for a large part have been discussed and fleshed out. It's not perfect, but I take it to more of what I was saying is it's becoming more acceptable, more understanding. The NFL is pro pride, which is great. But what that means is if the establishment becomes more pro pride, then you got to keep moving the arrow left to create views, to create controversy, to create passion, to make it harder for us to come to the middle, because the more you come to the middle, the more irrelevant the stuff is. The identity is. And that's where we're going. And I just want to say, don't give up. I am black pilled, I just have to be honest, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to still try to pull people back to the middle on the left and from the right. There's too much that we have in common, too much fundamentally that we have in common to let this go apart over issues that really we should be able to agree to disagree on. Let me know what you think. As always, thank you for listening. Take care.